We there? Hey everybody, this is Jared Scarlata, and this is episode 31 of Thrive TV. Today I want to talk to you about why your balance is so bad as you get older, or why your balance gets bad as you get older. So when we're young, we like to run around, play, climb, crawl, run. I already said that once. So we're constantly moving. So we're constantly challenging our bodies to do things that they're supposed to do, that our body is supposed to do when we're young, when we're middle-aged, and when we're old. We're supposed to be able to run, move, crawl, and do all these things. As we get older, and as we get into our adult years, our career years, we become more sedentary. We sit and watch TV more. We sit at our desk more at our job. We sit in the car driving to and from work. So as we get older, we're sitting more and active less. If you notice as you get older, you like to do things less, like riding roller coasters or anything that is going to challenge your balance that may get you dizzy. You like to do those things less and less as you get older. And part of it is physical in that, yes, a roller coaster beats you around, so it's a little tough on your body. That's a whole nother reason in itself. But the main part is because it gets you sick and gets you dizzy. And the sickness and dizziness is not because it is, but it's not because you're getting older. Like we always talk about, you're constantly fighting your body, and you're constantly fighting change, and you're constantly fighting regression. So not only muscular, skeletal, all these other issues that some of them that we've covered, but also within your balance system. So we're going to cover your balance system, why it gets bad as we get older. Kind of talked about that already, and a couple of things that we can do to enhance our balance system so that we don't have to be scared to like move, run, jump, turn, spin, ride roller coasters and things like that. So your balance system. So you have this system in your brain, not in your brain, but in your head, called your vestibular system. Vestibular system. And what your vestibular system is basically your internal gyroscope. So it keeps your balance. It keeps you upright whenever you're moving, no matter what you're doing. Your vestibular system keeps you upright. So just simply walking, getting up and standing up and sitting down, moving from side to side, no matter what you're doing, your vestibular system, your internal gyroscope in your head, is keeping you balanced and upright. I know a lot of people, as they get older, they have encountered some sort of vertigo, whether that's, there's some more serious versions of vertigo as you get older, and then just like basic vertigo, just from sitting up, you get dizzy for a second, and then you finally get yourself back together. Vertigo is basically your vestibular system, your inner ear. People talk about their inner ears, and whenever they get clogged up, they get dizzy and lightheaded. That's your vestibular system. So you have little crystals inside your ears, and whenever you move, tilt to side, go up and down, they move with you. And whenever they don't move the way that they're supposed to, then that's when the lightheadedness and vertigo and things like that come on. And the less that you use them, the less that they understand how to move and how to function. So sitting down, not doing anything, is causing your inner ear, your internal gyroscope, to not function and not move. So think of it as a muscle. Whenever you train a muscle, it gets stronger and or bigger, or whenever you stretch it, it gets more elastic. It's the same thing with your internal gyroscope. Whenever you work your internal gyroscope, it understands what you're doing. So when you sit and do nothing, it doesn't understand. It says, okay, I don't have to work hard, so if I work too hard and I all of a sudden start to run, or I fall over, or I roll around on the ground, I'm gonna not understand how to do that, so I'm not gonna function right. So your body understands the world around it, and it catches all this sensory information and all this movement information through something called proprioception. This is another big word, and I'm going to try and spell this out right. Proprioception. You can't read my handwriting anyway, so you don't know if I spelled it right or not. Doesn't matter either way. Proprioception is your body's understanding of its world and your movement within it. So anytime you get up and you move to the side, stand up, move to the side, your body has proprioceptors which give you feedback and let your brain know and your vestibular system understand that I moved to the side, here's your feedback, here's how you need to adjust. So I understand that sounds like a bunch of steps, but it happens so quick that you just don't know. So your proprioceptors give you feedback throughout life. No matter what you're doing, they're constantly giving you feedback. So the less movement that you do, the less climbing and standing up and running and things like that you do, the less that your proprioceptors have to work, and the less feedback that your vestibular system is also getting and being challenged to have to stabilize you. So we have our vestibular system, our internal gyroscope that keeps us upright, and then we have proprioception that helps our bodies understand the world around us as we move. Okay? So now that we understand these two things, there are a couple of basic things that we can do to just challenge our vestibular system and work on challenging proprioceptive movements to help us gain our childlike balance, I guess. So a lot of general population, as they come in to our facility, they talk about not having balance, and I don't have any more balance, and we show them some things that they might end up doing, and then they're like, oh, good luck, I'm not going to be able to do that. Someone asked, one of our clients actually asked questions on one of our Q&As about balance training and why it's important. And that's kind of why I decided to do this one, because it is important, and it is important that you do these things so that you don't have issues down the road, falling and breaking hips and pulling muscles and tearing ligaments just because you fell over. So the more that you challenge your vestibular system, the more you challenge your internal gyroscope, the less likely you'll be to fall as you get older. Again, given that you're moving and that your hips and everything function correctly, but again, that's another story. So a couple of things that we can do to challenge our, sorry, I'm making sure my audio is working. I was having some trouble with it earlier when I was checking it. So a couple things that we can do to challenge our vestibular system. I'm going to start with some easy things. I'm going to give you 3 things. I'll start with the easy ones, and then I'll end with some hard ones at the end. So the first thing that we can do is walk/run. So this seems easy enough, right? This seems basic enough, walk or run. And a lot of us do this already. However, there's a proper way to walk or run to take advantage of proprioception and to help build your vestibular system a little better. So when most of us walk, especially, we walk kind of with our hands to our side. Actually, everyone walks with their hands to their side. If you walk with your hands out in front, I don't know, maybe you're trying something new, but most of us walk with our hands to our side. We all walk with our hands to our side. But most of us don't move our hands and our arms all that much. Even when you're walking on purpose, you go outside for a walk, right? You might walk and you might move your arms just a little bit, but you're not moving them as much as you can be, which is not allowing your body to propel itself as much, which is also not working your contralateral movement. Okay, contralateral movement is just opposite limb on opposite side. So whenever you step with your left leg, your right arm comes forward. You step with your right leg, your left arm comes forward. Contralateral movement. So I'm not telling you to have big, huge arm swings when you walk, but you should have arm swing when you walk on a regular basis. Not only is this going to help you with your vestibular system and proprioception, but it's also going to help with lower back pain. Actually, the more arm, not the more, there's obviously a point of diminishing returns with everything, but the better arm action that you have and the better drive that you have with your arms as you walk, the less lower back pain that you will tend to have throughout your life. That's even given that you're not necessarily doing other things to help with your lower back pain. So the reason is your arm acts as a pendulum as you walk. So whenever you walk and you get good arm swing, then your back doesn't have to take the pressure. Whenever you stay still, your legs are moving and your back has to take the pressure to turn your leg back around. When you walk and you arm swing, then your arm acts as a pendulum and swings your body, propels your body back forward, whereas whenever you stay still, there is no swing, so there is no help to propel forward, so your back has to do it for you. So that's another good reason to have arm swing as you walk and or run. Now with the running part, there's another good reason why a lot of people like to just jog as they get older. It's because sprinting is hard on your vestibular system. It's challenging to sprint and then stop, and then sprint and then stop. A lot of people, as they get older, they get lightheaded if they actually try and sprint and stop, and a lot of that is oxygen uptake, but also a lot of it is vestibular system challenge. So sprinting, when I say run, I mean sprint. You can ask all of our clients, whenever I say go out and run, I mean go out and sprint. Sprinting, so being able to start and being able to stop, will challenge your internal gyroscope and help build its resilience. So that's number one. Number two is going to be groundwork. And we've covered this a lot. That is a D right here. We've covered this a lot over a couple of episodes. We had an episode on groundwork. I'll link it up at the bottom. We had an episode on groundwork that Sharon did, which was awesome. Rolling, crawling, bird dogs, dead bugs, those things like that. Not only, again, are you challenging, you're doing contralateral movement, which lay yourself on your back and try and do a dead bug, extend your right arm, left leg, and 9 times out of 10, the first 10 times that you do it, you'll do it wrong because your brain just doesn't know how to do that, because all we do is stand up and sit down. So rolling and crawling, not only will it build your vestibular system and build your proprioception, your body's understanding of the world around it, it will also build resilience in your body. So again, we go back to falling, and as we get older, part of the reason we fall is our internal gyroscope is not there, but also sometimes falls just happen, okay? Sometimes you just fall down. So if you just fall down and you were not used to falling down and being able to catch yourself and then getting back up, then you have a better likelihood of, number one, breaking something, fracturing something, tearing something, and number two, not being able to get back up, so needing help, or if no one's around, just laying there. So doing groundwork teaches you to get down on the ground and then get back up, and also crawling around on the ground, rolling around on the ground will build resilience within your body so that you lower the risk of those things happening as you get older, okay? So that's also why that's important. Notice there are benefits, more than one benefit to all these things. So we're covering the vestibular system and proprioception, but there are more than one benefit. It's more than just that. It's about building resilience within your body for other reasons as well. So that's number two. And then finally, number three is unilateral work. Unilateral work. And I'm going to talk mostly about lower body. So again, in a previous episode of Thrive TV, we've talked about unilateral versus bilateral work. Real quick, unilateral work is when you do work on one leg or one arm, one side of your body, and bilateral is when you do 2 legs or 2 arms, 2 sides, both sides of your body. So why I'm going to talk mostly about unilateral work in the lower body versus the upper body is because we walk with our legs, not with our hands. When we walk with our hands, then I'll talk more about that. So I'm going to talk about our lower body. Unilateral work. Most people, when they do leg exercises, they do squats, and they do leg presses, and they do hack squats, and they do leg extensions, and they do leg curls. All of that stuff is 2 legs at a time, right? So you're not building any type of like functional movement, functional stability, or your body's not having to understand a whole lot because all you're doing is standing there on 2 legs or extending your legs with 2 legs or anything along those lines. Getting on a machine is a whole nother story because you're completely eliminating everything. But when you do things on 2 legs, not that it's bad, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I'm just telling you, like, this is what it does, this is what it doesn't do. But when you do things on 2 legs, and we do two-legged squats here a lot, but when you do things on 2 legs, you don't challenge your proprioception, your body's understanding of the world around it, as much. So when you do things on 1 leg, split squats, rear foot elevated squats, single leg squats, single leg deadlifts, things like that, then you have a rotational challenge in there. When you're in a split squat position, then you have to balance yourself side to side. When you're doing a single leg deadlift, then you have this rotational component that you have to deal with. When you just squat, all you have to do is go down and up with 2 legs. So doing unilateral work will challenge your proprioception and your vestibular system so that you build resilience and lower the possibility of getting hurt, falling, and doing those things as you get older. So how you can implement these things, little action, some actions that you can take. Walking and running, you can do these kinds of things every day. Every day, right? Unless you're sprinting all the time. I wouldn't tell you to sprint every day. Sprinting, lifting heavy weights, and things like that, those things are taxing on your nervous system. So those are things that you want to do. If you do them 2 or 3 days in a row, then you want to take a day or 2 off. So if you're doing sprints, I think sprints are great for everybody. Everybody should do them. If you're doing them, do them 2 days, 3 days in a row. Take the day off. Do them 2 or 3 days in a row, depending on how hard you're running, so on and so forth. If you're walking, you can walk every day. Walk every day. All right? Groundwork. Groundwork you can do every day. And we can do things like rolling and crawling and some other things. But that's what I'm going to put up here for now. All right, I'll link that up at the bottom. And then finally, with our lower body unilateral leg work, lower body and leg work are the same thing. Don't repeat yourself, Jer. You can do things such as split squats and I'm going to go ahead and just go straight to single leg deadlift because split squat is just a regression of rear foot elevated squat and single leg squat. So you can do things like split squats and other knee dominant exercises and single leg deadlifts and other hip dominant unilateral exercises. So put these things into your program. Oh, these things. You can do these things depending on how intense that you're doing them. You can do them every day as warm-ups, or I would challenge you to do them as strength training exercises as well. You can do them every other day as strength training exercises, okay? Again, give yourself a day of rest. Not that you shouldn't strength train 2 days in a row. You should, and that's fine, but not the same type of movement. So if you're doing a split squat on one day, do a single leg deadlift on the next day, and then give yourself a little rest on the day after that, on the 4th day, then go into rear foot elevated squats, single leg hip bridges. You see what I'm getting to? Maybe. So implement these things now, okay? Start to build your resilience. I don't care if you're 60, 70, 80 years old. These are things that you can do immediately to help build your resilience and get yourself moving again, okay? I don't care how old you are. That's another thing that we'll talk about in the future, but age is not a factor in this. It's where are you starting now, and then everyone has a general idea of what their goal is, but where do you start? Like, where are you starting now? Everyone starts at a different spot. So if you're 20 years old, you have a different spot than the 80-year-old that's starting somewhere else, but you can both progress at the same sort of rate. So know where you start, know where you are, so that you know where you can go and how you can get there. All right, not like all these training systems, P90X and things like that, that are one size fits all. They don't take into account each individual. We're all individuals. We all start at a different spot. So know where you start and then go from there. Before I digress anymore, if you guys have any questions, we're going to do another Q&A. We should be able to get one in this week. If not, we'll do it at the beginning of next week. We're going to do another Q&A. If you have any questions, send them to Thrive Fitness on Twitter at the Thrive Pack. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Mm-hmm.